and Stitches. We're going to be working on the die cut flower today that we've made from our t-shirt knit. We cut it out in part 1. I make it with my die cut machine, which is a Sizzix Big Shot. The die that I use is the Stampin Up, and I think this is an exclusive die cut from Stampin Up, so you do have to get it through the Stampin Up company, and it is the fold over flower. Now, this is kind of an expensive die. I think it's around $50, and when I first started thinking about getting it, I was kind of unsure about the price on it. Didn't know if I wanted to spend that much money, but let me tell you, I have really used this die a lot. I'm not going to go through and how I actually cut it out. There's so many videos out there that show you how to cut fabric on the die cut machine and on the Big Shot machine. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to let you know that you need, there's 4 actual sizes of flowers on this die cut. I use the 2 little ones for this particular flower, and I just lay the fabric over the top of those 2 cuts, and you need 4 layers for this flower, 4 layers of each of these 2 small sizes. I do want to show you some of the other flowers that I use with my die cut machine, using all 4 of the big ones. I make these tapestry flowers. They're absolutely beautiful and really good sellers for me, and that is one of the reasons why I say, if you are a crafter out there who sells your wares, this die cut is really a good value. I use little vintage buttons in the center. I hope you can see these well enough. They have the cellophane bags on them, but I use 4 different coordinating decorator prints or tapestries to make these, and they do have the little pin back on the back of them. So that's an example of that. I also have been using my t-shirt, what I'm going to be showing you today, my t-shirt flowers on my hats. They're really fun. I sell these on my Etsy store. I'll link that to you, but they turn out really neat. The tapestry flowers that I just showed you, I glue them. Whereas the t-shirt flowers, I just sew the centers of them so that they stay kind of free, and just so you can see the individual petals. I did actually braid the t-shirt strings that we worked on with the half inch cuts of t-shirt. I just braided that across the front and then added the chain. I don't know if you can see this or not, but I use the Tim Holtz trinket. Looks like a safety pin trinket. It kind of adds a neat element to the hat. So it's not only decorative, but it's functional. It actually it hooks these 2. I add a little chain also. I add chains a lot to my hats just to kind of give them a industrial kind of a element to them. But this little trinket pin holds that in place. And then on the other side, I added just a button on this one. The button is covered up when you put the flower in, but some people, I mean, you can wear the hat like without the flower, and you can wear the flower somewhere else. So it's kind of a neat little thing. It's very versatile. I have another one here too that I was going to show you quick. Again, this is with the t-shirt. This is the t-shirt flower. I kind of kept a little tail on this side. And just a really neat, fun look. The little t-shirt flowers turn out really neat. 2, this is such a neat little notion that I was gonna show you quickly. It's called a bodkin, and it's just like a little clamp thing You can get this at Joann Fabrics just on their Notion wall. I've had mine for years and years. It's truthfully for if you wash your hoodie and this drawstring comes out, it's a way to pull the drawstring back in. You could also pull elastic through a casing with this, but it really works well to braid. I just tie a knot, stick this on, clamp it down tight, and then I actually stick it right underneath my sewing machine. I'm not going to show you how I actually do the braiding. You all know how to braid, but it's a really slick way of holding it in place. It's quick. So take a look for one of these little things at Joann Fabrics or at whatever fabric store in the Notion wall. It's really slick. Onto the flower itself. Most of my t-shirt flowers, I use all 4 layers the same, and that's the look I like for the t-shirt flowers. My tapestry flowers are all four layers are different, a different color. I am going to show you different colors on these just because you'll be able to see it so much better. And I actually work right on the platform of my sewing machine, so I don't have to lift it up. I can just scoot it right underneath. It's kind of a tricky little step here. Easy, but you just want to, you have to kind of work at it a little bit. I hope you see this okay here, but you fold these little flowers up so that you have 4, you can see that or not, 4 little petals. There you go. There you can see it better that way. And then you take the other one and then do the same thing. You fold all 4 of the same size. You actually have kind of a heart shape on these, 2 hearts if they're folded correctly. Okay, and then you have to layer them. And how you layer them is you take 2 and you layer it over the top of the other 2. Just like that, and you can see that. And I'm going to take the other one and layer it over the top of this one. And you've got that. Now this one gets a little bit trickier. You lay it over the top and then underneath the first one. Now these aren't perfect. I like the fact that they're kind of free on the t-shirt ones. The tapestry ones, I actually glue every single one of them down so that they lay flat. I don't want the t-shirt ones to lay flat. So I'm just going to scoot it under here, and I am going to just do a circle with my sewing machine. I have my darning foot on so that I can just have some free motion with that. Okay, so that layer is done. And then basically I do the same thing with this layer. I'm going to quickly do this. I'm just going to quickly fold and layer the same way as we did the first layer. I'm just going to fold, or the first size I should say. Fold and layer here. And fold and layer. And then this one goes over the top. And then underneath. And then I'm scooting it underneath my pressure foot here. And I'm going to sew through all my layers in a circle. Okay, I'm clipping threads. The threads are completely covered up, so I didn't even, this thread doesn't even match. It doesn't matter. Okay, push this out of the way, and I'm going to move my hot glue in here. Got threads everywhere. Okay. And you stick one layer on top of the other. You know, I think I'm going to use my sewing machine one more time here and just combine these two layers. Same thing, just underneath my pressure foot. Okay, I have my two layers joined. The next step, remember we had that hem of our t-shirt sleeve? That is what I used to make the little rosette in the middle. I'm just going to clip it open, tie a knot, and this this is the same kind of method as we did with our big rosette, only this is a much smaller version. Basically, you're just going to be wrapping, twisting, and gluing just a couple times for this. You just want a center for the flower. I'll do one more here. And that's about the size I want. I'm going to cut my tail here. And then I'm going to glue and bring this into the back here. Okay, now I have a nice little cute little rosette. Then I'm going to glue in the center of the flower. And there we have it. I like the fact that the feathers just kind of are free and they just kind of go all over. What's neat about the t-shirt knit is that the fabric is the same color on the front and the back. Whereas a decorator prints on the tapestry flowers, it's not. It's just printed on one side, so the underside is kind of a whitish color. So you don't want them to be, you know, free-formed like this. Now I'm going to add the little leaf on the back, just similar to how I did it on the other one. I'm not going to do the tails. I'm just going to do that little leaves. So I just kind of do a little two little leaves pattern on my mat, just by forming a couple loops. I put my glue on, and then sticking my flower in there. Turning it over. Again, a little circle that I had cut with my die cut machine out of the t-shirt fabric from the sleeve. I'm going to glue that on the back. And then add my little alligator clip. And that's it. A very cute little t-shirt flower that you can add to the scarf like we made in part 1. Or, like I showed you, can add them to hats or lapels or whatever. They're just really a neat little accessory. I hope you've enjoyed this. Thank you so much. Bye.